Seed starting sounds easy, doesn't it? Until your seedlings look like they've given up on life. Or just don't even show up. You plant the seeds, and then you wait. And then you check them every 5 minutes, and then you wait. But for some reason, your seedlings fail. They get leggy. They don't develop into strong plants. And here's the wild thing. Most seed starting fails come from just a handful of mistakes. Tiny things that most beginner gardeners do, but they just don't realize that that's what's killing their plants. But don't worry, once you know all of those mistakes, you'll be able to skip that frustration and save your seeds. And finally grow strong, healthy plants from day one. Seed starting isn't rocket science, but it's also not just stick it in the ground and hope. Especially because I can't do that right now. So before you waste another packet of seeds, let's fix it in this video. Number one on our list of seed starting mistakes is, of course, using the wrong soil. This is probably the most important step. Not all dirt is created equally. You wouldn't try to bake a cake with cement, right? Although that's usually how my baking ends up. The same logic applies to starting seeds. Let's say your garden soil is workable, you get a spade full of it and try to start in that indoors. Who knows what's in that soil? There could be bugs, there could also be disease. Regular potting mix is a bit too dense, unless you sift it and make it soft and fluffy. What you need is a light, fluffy seed starting mix. Something that holds just the right amount of water and doesn't turn into a swamp. A mix that lets tiny roots spread without effort. And yes, you can do this by sifting regular potting mix. Although I'm lazy, so I just buy the bags that are ready sifted. I pay a little more, but saves me time, and I really don't have the space in my house. You're gonna wanna get this right, because if you get this wrong, your seeds might not even sprout. Number two is about planting seeds either too deep or too shallow. Planting seeds isn't a treasure hunt. You don't have to bury them as deep as pirate gold, but you also don't want them just sitting on top of the soil. A good rule of thumb for most seeds is to plant them twice as deep as they are big, but also some seeds need light to germinate, so just press them into the top seeds like celery and celeriac. Tiny seeds like lettuce barely cover them. They are so small, you don't want to bury them. Bigger seeds like beans, you can put them in a bit deeper. They need that space to grow. And if you are ever wondering about what depth to plant your seed, just read the seed packet. It's all on there. Some even have a little guide, so if you're not sure what 1/4 inch is, you can have a look on here. If you go too deep, you run the risk of your seeds never making it to surface. They'll just run out of energy. Too shallow and it might just dry out before it even gets a chance to sprout. Number three may be the biggest seed starting mistake people make, and that's overwatering or underwatering. Too much love or not enough love. This is where most beginner gardeners are gonna fail, because they're gonna panic. Too much water, you drown your seedlings. Too little, they're gonna dry up. The secret is moist, not soaked. And I know people love the word moist. What a lovely word to say. Makes some people uncomfortable, the word moist, for some reason. I'm not sure why, I don't mind the word moist. I'll be honest with you, this is something I struggle with every year. But I'm getting better. If your soil is constantly wet, you could be inviting fungus and mold. And also root rot, which, as the name suggests, rots away the roots. My advice, spray bottle. Also, bottom watering is a game changer. For example, I got these. The soil and the plants go in here, water goes in there, I put it in there, and they'll take up as much as they need. No overwatering, no mess, also very easy to do. Number four is something I really struggled with in my first year, because I was being cheap and I didn't want to buy certain items that I really needed. And four is not enough light. In my first year of gardening, I kept finding that my seeds were always stretching out. They were reaching to get to the light. They were getting leggy. And then I realized that's what happens when they don't get enough light. An easy way to spot this is if your seedlings are tall and thin, maybe flopping over, that's a surefire sign that they haven't got enough light. But if they're short and compact, they're getting enough light. A sunny window just isn't enough. Unless you have direct all-day sun, grow lights are your friends. Keep the lights just a few inches away from your plants. You can do this by either raising your plants up or bringing the lights down. Too far away, they'll still be stretching. Too close, you risk burning them. 12 to 16 hours a day is kind of what these plants are looking for. I use smart plugs and I can set a schedule on there. They turn on at 6 a.m, they turn off at midnight. Okay, so great, you've got all those covered, but your seedlings are still not taking off. Why is that happening? Well, it could be because of number 5, forgetting about airflow and temperature. You've got the right soil, the watering's perfect, the lights are dialed in. Why isn't it working? It's probably airflow. Seedlings that grow indoors don't get that wind resistance that they would outside. That means their stems may stay weak and may be prone to snapping once they do go outside. Also, without airflow, there's going to be more fungus. Water, soil, it's all going to mix and that fungus will form. And the fix is very easy for this. You probably have this sitting around. A fan. Just put it on low near your seedlings and this makes them stronger and prevents disease. And keep the room temperature between 18 and 24 C, which is 65 to 75 Fahrenheit. There you go. Working it out. Too hot? You risk them getting leggy again. They're trying to get away from the heat. Too cold, they will just stop growing. And our final seed starting mistake today, number 6, is heat mats. Are they helping or are they a hindrance? If you've ever started seeds indoors, you probably know about heat mats. They promise to speed up germination and they do a great job at it, but only when used correctly. Some plants love the extra warmth. They won't germinate without it. Think your warm season crops, so peppers, tomatoes, stuff like that. A heat mat can cut down your germination time by days and also help you get more. But here's where people mess it up. They'll leave their seedlings on the heat mat way too long. Heat mats are really just for germination. Once most of your seedlings have germinated, it's probably the right time to take it off the heat mat. If you leave them on there too long once they have germinated, they'll just get leggy because they'll try and get away from the heat. And some seeds just hate the heat. There's no point putting them on the heat mat. Stuff like lettuce, spinach, those guys just prefer cooler soil. So just use a heat mat for heat-loving plants. Once they sprout, turn it off or just move them off the heat mat. And for cool weather crops, just don't bother with the mat. They don't need it. So now you know what's been messing up your seedlings. So you're ready. Go grab those seed trays, get something in the ground, and get your garden started. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, do whatever. Also, check out this next video. This is the one that YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy, so I hope you do.